If you want to see with your own eyes how amazing this new CRT simulation technology looks for the games you are playing right now on your PC, I'm going to illuminate the way and share some messed up settings because I'm sure someone in the comments is gonna share the solution for the issue I am having, because the promise is if this flickers more than BFI, your money back. This is actually free. Check your settings basically. If this doesn't look awesome, check your settings, bro. It's that simple. Yeah, I'm having an issue where it looks like HDR on top of HDR. So I'm not familiar with this RetroArch program, which is the way we have now to test this feature. And it actually works for gaming, but retro games, I don't have any retro game. So here's what I did. I recorded gameplay, okay? And then I opened the video. And with the video open, we can actually activate this feature. So all you have to do is download RetroArch, link in the description of the video, that's free. Then you open the program, and I'm gonna share the settings. There is something wrong here. So I'm gonna share all the settings. Hopefully someone can help me understand what's going on, okay? So I have HDR off, because this right now works for SDR only. So HDR off, then on the settings, come here to video, output. See here, I am using D3, D12, but I've tried Vulkan, and I've also tried GL Core, and same issue. And I'm using 120 Hertz, VRR is off on the PC. And when you come here to synchronization, and here I am using shader subframes, which I think you're supposed to have on, but I've tried turning it off. It doesn't even work if I turn it off. So VSync has to be on, and then we don't have to use black frame insertion here or this rolling scanline simulation. This is something else. What we're going to do is open the video we recorded. It could be any 60 FPS video, okay? So we just open that video, we run it, and then, as you can see, it's working, but it looks all messed up. It looks like HDR on top of HDR, so the gamma is all wrong. So once you open the video, here's what you have to do. You press F1. That's the key. You press F1 on your keyboard, and then you come down here where it says shaders, and we're going to, let's see if I remember, we're going to load preset. So load preset, and we're going to come here where it says shaders and slang. Then we're going to scroll down to, let's see if I subframe BFI, this one. And then we're going to download this CRT beam simulator. So we double click that. Sorry, not double click, just one click. So I did it already, so it's already there, but let's do it again. Let's go to load preset, shader slang. Come here, subframe BFI, CRT beam simulator, just one click, and that's it. So after you do that, you're going to click here where it says shader parameters, and those are the settings that we have available. And I know these are the settings that will be available because I read the code and all the things that we can do. So we have this brightness versus clarity setting, For 120 hertz, I think you're supposed to use 0.5. For 240 hertz, 0.7. And for 480 hertz, 0.8. I think that's what it is, but I'm not sure. Maybe you can play around with these. And the gamma, well, you can play around, but on the code it says gamma 2.4, but the setting is there. I think it should be 2.2, but I cannot test that right now because it looks messed up. Now the rest you can leave it the same. This LCD anti-retention, you can turn it off if you have an OLED. This is because LCDs, some LCDs can suffer from image retention with software BFI because the black frame is always in the same polarity or something like that. So it can cause burning because you need to like balance out, and both polarities need to be used equally, otherwise it can cause an issue. So this is actually designed so that's not a problem. So you can turn it on if you're using an LCD based display, but for OLEDs you can turn this off. So off is probably 0. And then we have this raster position mode, which I would need to have this working right so I can actually test and see what would be the best setting. Now, here's the thing. Right now, I'm using it at 120 hertz, and I'm not sure if this, probably it works at 144. But the reason is I cannot use 144 because I have to go to the service menu, enable DSC, because with DSC disabled, 144 hertz on this S90D only works with VRR. So you have to turn off VRR. I cannot use 144 hertz unless I turn on back DSC, which I can do, but I didn't do it because this is not working right anyway. But one of the most exciting things about this new technology is that it works for 144 hertz, and you actually get the motion clarity of 144 hertz or frames, sample and hold, which would be like 7 milliseconds of persistence. So if you get, let's say, the LG G5, that's 165 hertz, or the Samsung S90F, which is also supposed to have 165 hertz, you can actually get that motion clarity at just 60 FPS. That's awesome, because a lot of people say, oh, we don't need more hertz, like it doesn't matter, I cannot run the games at 165 frames per second or something like that. This works. And in case you have a console, this could be implemented on the consoles, and it should be 100%. This implementing this on the PS5 for them would take like probably a day. Okay, it's that simple. The RetroArch developer added this feature immediately. It was so fast, absolutely amazing. So we could have this feature everywhere, and we should definitely have this everywhere. It will be just a no-brainer, absolutely a no-brainer. So that's it. Those are the settings I'm using. I hit apply changes, and the thing is, it doesn't work. The gamma is messed up. I see the motion clarity improvement, and I can tell you at least I don't see any flickering whatsoever. No flickering at all. And actually, to prove that this is working, if I change my camera settings and I increase the shutter speed, let me show you. So in real time here, if I go wild with the shutter speed, let me increase the gain. So increase the gain, then I increase the shutter speed. You see how the screen looks like it is divided? You see? Half of the screen looks like that, then sometimes the other half is the one that looks black. So you see that there is some flickering going on. I cannot see flickering whatsoever. This is a fantastic. When I use BFI on this Samsung S90D, S95C, S90C, the flickering is visible and it is bothersome and annoying. On my LG C1 at 60, the motion clarity is gonna be better than this, okay? Because this one is just 144. The C1 looks like 156 frames per second, if I remember correctly based on my testing. So it looks a little bit more clear. Probably as clear as the G5 would be with 165 frames. Very close to it. So this is not gonna be as good, but very small difference. And this one doesn't flicker, okay? And I think it's also going to be bright enough. I lose a lot of brightness when I use BFI on this Samsung QD OLED TVs. A lot of brightness, a lot more than my LG C1. Actually, my LG C1 is almost brighter than the S95C with OLED Motion Pro High at 60. At 120, it dims a lot more. So at 120, OLED Motion Pro High, which is the rolling scan technology that the LG C1 has to simulate CRTs, it loses even more brightness. But it looks very clear. It looks awesome. It improves motion in 2.6x based on my testing, which is absolutely amazing. It looks like 312 frames per second based on my testing. But right now here, for example, this text that I have here, I am moving in the recording left to right to see if I can read the text, and it is blurry. It is blurry. It's not very clear, but this is just 120 hertz. If you have a 240 hertz or 480 hertz OLED, this should be awesome because you can actually get 2 milliseconds of persistence if you have 480 hertz OLEDs. So this is gonna be crystal clear if you move the camera like this low. I mean, I can read it already with these. I can read it like at that speed, no problem. So this is awesome, man. I cannot wait to test this the proper way. So let me know what's wrong with this. I turn off HDR on the emulator again. Turn on and off HDR on the PC. The recording is an SDR recording. It's not an HDR recording. So I don't know what's going on, what's wrong. Now I can see an issue. I have to change the settings to not get any weirdness. But it's just the settings. That's it. I just need to check the settings and that should fix everything. This is so interesting to me. Look. Just look at this. This is 240 hertz. So this is what's happening. What I think is happening. And what based on what I've read and everything. With 240 hertz, this is what's happening. You have 60 FPS on the games. The monitor is gonna be running at 240 hertz. And each of those 60 FPS is going to have 4 frames. And so you have 60 FPS for each one of those 60 FPS, you're gonna have 4 different frames. And what's the difference between the frames? Well, one frame is gonna be like this. So let's say if we take 4 pictures, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the 4 pictures. So the display is still refreshing left to right, top to bottom. The first frame is gonna be this one. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you focus in 25% of the screen, so let's say you have 25% of your screen, you will see you have super bright, less bright, and black. So each pixel is gonna have like a brighter than reference, let's say, look. Then another one that's darker, probably darker than reference, then another one that's dim, and then black. So that is to simulate the phosphorus decay. And the more hertz you have, the better the effect you can have. And of course, they also say that for higher refresh rates, you don't have to, fade in that much. You can be more aggressive. You can have a closer to a square wave behavior because the flickering is almost gone. So if the flickering is not an issue, if you have a closer to a square wave, then you can have less, not ghosting, but like less trailing artifacts. Let's say artifacts like CRTs, because of the phosphorus decay, have some trailing behind fast-moving objects. So that's the downside. But the good thing about that is that you see less flickering. So the phosphorus decay is the magic of the CRTs. Thanks to that, you have less visible or annoying flickering. So you're trading less flickering for a little bit of trailing. So with the higher refresh rates, you can eliminate that trailing because you don't need that much fade in. You can be more aggressive. And that's what they show here, actually. So this will be the 240 hertz version, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they show here, for example, this is how a higher refresh rate would be like. So it would be shorter and it could have more clear dark periods. You don't need to be that careful with the fading. Now for this one, this is the 120. We only have two frames. That's it. So you don't have, there's not much you can do. It doesn't get as close to the CRT emulation. So that's why it'll be a fantastic, like they say here, it is fantastic at 360 and 480 hertz with OLEDs. It also works with LCDs, but OLEDs are the best for this because of the gray to gray, the responsiveness of the pixels. So this is absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to have this implemented on Reshade if it's possible. There are some challenges. Reshade depends on the frame rate, so if you're at 60 FPS, for Reshade is at 60. This needs to be at 120. So there is something that Reshade needs to update to implement something like this. But hopefully we can get this working in lossless scaling or any other program, or the games. The games could have a setting like in-game graphic settings that would be just turn it on, boom, you have better motion. Just imagine that. That would be amazing. Just amazing. All the games come with this as a setting. Just imagine that on Unreal Engine, for example, which I'm not a fan of Unreal Engine, but the thing is, that's what we have for the majority of the games. So if Unreal Engine implements this, then all the games could have it, just a single toggle. And if the game does not have it, we can always mod the game and enable that at the engine level. Just, it would be fantastic. I cannot wait for this. And once we have a 1000 hertz, we could have 1 millisecond of persistence at just 60 FPS. The dream. Okay. So this is so amazing, man. This was a passion work. This is absolutely incredible. I mean, this is probably a lifetime of dreams, effort, like focus. This is an amazing breakthrough for the chief, and also with the help of this Timothy Lutz, which is probably also a brilliant mastermind, but Mark Rehon. This is just absolutely amazing. They not only created this, they say this is open source. Not only that, we will help you implement this in your product. If it's a game, emulator, firmware for a display, monitor, whatever. This is just nuts. They could have just called Jensen and say, hey, you want to get a new feature on your 50 series GPUs, and force everyone to buy your GPU, we just sell this to you like, I don't know, $1 million. What's $1 million to NVIDIA? Absolutely nothing. They could just check another box for their GPUs, pay $1 million, they would be rich and call it a day. I mean, it's just insane that they work so hard, put all their talent and all their intelligence to create something this transcendental and just give it away for free for everyone. And not only that, we will also help you. This is passion. This is passion. This is what dreams are made of. It's just absolutely incredible. So yeah, I cannot wait to test this, to see it with my own eyes. So I cannot wait for that comment on this video. I'm gonna pin that comment, of course, and give you the shout out on the next one. So yeah, help me get this figured out, so we can all see it. Okay, so let's leave it there. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, and if you have any questions.